If you want the biggest legs you can get, I would buy Olympic weightlifting shoes.
So my initial reaction thought when I watched the video, I just find it so disingenuous a little bit to just say that, like, this is what you need. You need to buy this thing. It seems like he's implying do this one thing and your quads are going to look like C-bums.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the show. My name is Cameron. I have here with me
Danny Lou, baby.
Danny Lou. We're doing it again, back again for another video on relevant topics related to the fitness industry. Danny has brought in a video from Mike Israetel.
Yes, Renaissance periodization, baby.
Renaissance periodization. We're going to take a look at it, and we're going to have a fun discussion.
All right, here we go.
All right, let's go ahead.
If you want the biggest legs you can get, I would buy Olympic weightlifting shoes. There's a bunch of different options. You don't even have to buy the super expensive ones. And I would even consider going to the internet. It's this big place in your computer, and you go to a company called Versalifts. Versalifts are these awesome little heel supports that you can even put into your regular shoes. But if you put them into your weightlifting shoes, what ends up happening is it creates a crap load more ankle mobility for you. If you're doing an exercise like the belt squat, you can stay more upright and have your knees come way over your toes at the bottom. Notice that C-bum is using a preposterous, seemingly maximum amount of load. You might have to use half of that, and you go ultra deep. The degree of quad flexion, you look at it right now, the knee angle there's 80, maybe 75 degrees or something. You know, when like even the bottom of your calf is touching your glute, that's what we want. And if we can get that, we have to use less load and we get more quad stimulus. And that bigger stretch multiplies that even more.
All right.
Interesting, huh?
That was interesting. That I have quite a few thoughts on that already.
You want to start it off or want me to start first?
You go ahead and start off first. I want to hear your thoughts on that video.
All right. So my initial reaction thought when I watched the video is it's kind of framed like a lot of videos are framed these days, where it's like, do this one thing and your quads will blow up.
Yeah.
Essentially is what I heard in that video.
Yeah.
And I just find it so disingenuous a little bit to just say that, like, this is what you need. You need to buy this thing. I wonder if he even has a stake in Versalifts or something. I don't know. The way he name dropped the brand Versalifts, I just thought it was kind of interesting.
I wonder.
It seems like he's implying do this one thing and your quads are going to look like C-bums. Is that, and he drops a C-bum name in there too. So it's like,
I missed the C-bum thing.
that was like half the video is him showing C-bum right there.
No, I didn't even know that was C-bum.
Okay, yeah. So that's who he was showing. He was showing
Okay.
C-bum doing his squats like he does on his belt squats. And then it's also interesting because he chose the video where he's literally barefoot doing the belt squats to focus his glutes. Of course, he's not trying to hit quads during belt squats. Like he's barefoot. Like, I don't know. It just seems so disingenuous to do everything that just happened in that video. It just seems so weird.
It is disingenuous because you're not taking into consideration that everybody is different. Certain things, some people are just not going to respond to the same thing. Some people are not going to respond to back squats like they might on a leg press or a leg extension or something like that. Andy Galpin has talked about that. At the end, it's very individual specific, and to say that this is the only thing that you need and this is the thing that's going to help you get your quads bigger, it may help some, but then there's also other things. Ankle mobility does play a role in it. I know he said that it is going to improve your ankle mobility and allow you to get down into a deeper squat, but I gotta say, you do need to have proper hip mobility if you want to get into a deep squat. If you don't have the hip mobility in your posterior capsule of your femur, you are not going to get down there. You need that, and it's going to send the stress where? Into your lower back or into your knee. You need to have proper mobility in the hip and ankle in order for you to get down into that deep squat position and hit more stimulus in the quadriceps. And even if you're able to, I don't know if you're going to be able to stimulate the quads quite like what he's saying. Maybe for some,
Yeah.
but definitely not for all.
Yeah, and then my other huge issue with this as well is the quads during a squat is definitely going to be one of the big movers, but is it the primary mover during a squat? Typically, no. Typically, you're trying to target the glutes when you're doing a squat, 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So, like, there's just so many better things if you want to target your quads. If you're trying to get bigger quads, there's so many better things you could be doing that to, like why would you want to do that? I personally, when it comes to, and this is opening up a whole can of worms talking about gym equipment as a whole, but I personally only see those lifted shoes to be justifiable use in powerlifting sports.
Yeah.
I don't see them being a huge impact. And there's a reason you don't see bodybuilders wearing powerlifting shoes when they squat. I've never seen one. I don't know about you. I've literally never seen a big time bodybuilder wearing powerlifting shoes when they squat.
Yeah, I can't say I have either.
No, I've seen some really fucking jack guys doing it.
Yeah.
But no one that's like main goal is to put on size and muscle to step on a stage. Usually they're powerlifters that just so happen to also be jacked. Russell Ori, great example. Of course he wears powerlifting shoes. But I just find it so disingenuous to imply that. It just seems so weird.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, so to go back to the point about the depth, we do know that the joint that moves furthest away from the midline is the one that gets stimulated the most. So I
Exactly.
think that's what his main point is, that if you change the angle of your ankle and you allow your knees to travel farther forward, they're going to go farther away from the midline, and then it's going to hit your quads a little bit more.
Exactly.
But I'd like to... The return on investment, I'm just not sure I'm buying it.
And that's also why powerlifters use them, right? Is so that their quads can aid more in their squat to get bigger numbers, right? So if that's what your goal is, sure, use powerlifting shoes. But him implying that this is what you need to do to get bigger quads is just a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do something else to get bigger quads. You're not going to get huge, massive quads with a squat. You can. Some people might.
Jay
But-
Cutler, like, never squat.
Exactly. Well, there's that video. I should have got that video for you too. I watched this morning of him talking about how when he was 19, he used to train legs 3 times a week, and he had massive legs. When he turned 19, he decided he wanted to do bodybuilding. He trained legs, I think he said like once a month, because his legs were so disproportionately large to his upper body. He needed to give himself time to catch up to his legs.
God, I wish I had that problem.
No one else I know has that issue. I can tell you that right
Dude,
now.
I know. And so then again, that's individual specific. He might even be like a hyper responder to training his legs. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you'd have to look at, but I guess I'm trying to generalize. Jay Cutler is who you're talking about, right?
Yes,
We're talking
yeah.
about Jay Cutler. Okay. I guess I'm trying to generalize what he did, but he could just be somebody who responds really well to training his legs. And if he did them 3 days a week, I don't know if somebody else who would do the same thing would be able to get their legs to that size, training their legs 3 days a week. It's not going to be for everybody.
They would not. I can tell you that right now.
I don't, and so that's what I'm saying is it's individual specific. He might be a hyper responder, and that is why his legs grew that much. It's not just because he trained legs hard 3 days a week.
Yeah. So, and then if we can like pull this back in a little bit, back to the gym equipment aspect of it, like powerlifting shoes, there's weightlifting belts, wrist straps that people use for like pulling movements. There's a whole bunch of stuff out there, right? Like, I'm not trying to say that that's all stupid and useless, that certain people shouldn't use it.
No, not at all.
But there's a time, circumstance, and place for everything, and not everything's going to apply to every person. So like I said, like a power lifter obviously would benefit from using those type of shoes to help get their numbers up. Would a bodybuilder? Probably not. Yeah. Would a bodybuilder benefit from wrist straps where they can wrap it around the bar during their pulling movements to isolate their lats? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would a power lifter? Probably not. They probably could use an extra help getting their forearm stronger, the grip strength up there. It wouldn't be as necessarily beneficial to them as it would be to a bodybuilder. So there's just, as someone would say, different strokes.
Different strokes. I agree.
There's different applications for different people. I'm gonna throw that in there so you don't have to use that.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. And again, we've had this discussion multiple times. It's very specific to the individual. Just because you're going to go grab some powerlifting shoes or whatever, and you're going to get it into a deeper position, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is going to be the key for building your quads. It might be for some, but it's definitely not going to be for everybody.
Yeah, wholeheartedly agree.
Anyway, that was good. Appreciate you bringing that in. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's content, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.